Shri Radha Krishna Jagannath Lila Shri Shyam Avasvamishtapadai Vishnupadai Srimate Vedant Swami Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Prasade Namaste Shashwati Vashambe Mahadanyaya Krishna Krishna Chaitanya Nandane Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Guru Bhagwan Bhagwan Shanakaran Vishram Vishaman Ilachala Dasaya Jaya Bhagavadra Shankaram Jagannath Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama
Text 6 today. Etadyonini bhutani sarvani upadharaya aham krishnasya jagata prabhava pralayastata. All created beings have their source in these two natures. Of all that is material and all that is spiritual in this world, know for certain that I am the origin and dissolution, both. Everything that exists is a product of matter and spirit. Spirit is the basic field of creation, and matter is created by the spirit. Spirit is not created at a certain stage of material development. Rather, this material energy is manifested only on the basis of spiritual energy. This material body is developed because spirit is present within matter. A child grows gradually from boyhood and then to manhood because that spiritual energy, spirit soul, is present. Similarly, the entire cosmic manifestation of the gigantic universe is developed because of the presence of the Supersoul, that is Vishnu. Therefore, spirit and matter, which combine to manifest the gigantic universal form, are originally two energies of the Lord, and consequently, the Lord is the original cause of everything. A fragmental part and parcel of the Lord, namely the living entity, may be the cause of a big skyscraper, a big factory, or even a big city, but he cannot be the cause of a big universe. The cause of the big universe is the big soul, or the super soul. And Krishna, the Supreme, is the cause of both the big and the small souls. Therefore, he is the original cause of all causes. That is confirmed in the Katha Upanishad, Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam. Everything that exists is a product of matter and spirit. Spirit is the basic field of creation, and matter is created by the spirit. So, everything in this world, as Prabhupada explains, is a combination of matter and spirit. In this world, we just cannot have one single coordinate axis in general. It's not just material or just spiritual. It has coordinates in both dimensions. So we see when matter and spirit convolutes, it leads to complexity. And therefore this world is so complex. It's like, you know, we can understand that. So we may say, okay, real algebra is easier to understand, or it's, but when the imaginary axis is added, then that is called as complex algebra. So life becomes very complicated because there is real axis, there's imaginary axis, there's real axis, imaginary axis. Now, it's interesting to see that uh, now wherever complex algebra is applied in real life practical applications, we can see that uh, that which directly has an impact is the real axis generally, and that which has an indirect impact is the imaginary axis. Sure enough, both have an impact. It's not just imaginary, both have an impact. In a very broad sense, in a very broad sense, we can see that. So we can say that the same way we can understand that the spiritual energy has a direct impact. But matter also has an impact which is indirect. It's just like uh, say love or affection exudes from the spirit soul primarily. The quality exudes from the spirit soul. But we can try to understand that quality through the material energy. Service attitude exudes from the soul. But it is manifested by, it is manifested through the material energy. The service attitude. Say for example, nobody to cook, some devotee volunteered on his own, he cooked also. So you are seeing prasad, you can understand this person is having out a service attitude. Now prasad is matter as such. Uh, obviously it's material energy offered to Krishna. But then the point is it's material, it's indirect, but it speaks about the service attitude of the person. So that's how matter and spirit are quite convoluted to each other. So here the Lord is explaining that there are not just not two aspects which are there. There are three aspects in general. So that's how, from the language of Gita, we understand that there is Antaranga Shakti, there is Tatastha Shakti, and there is Bahiranga Shakti. And therefore, the Lord is telling what is material, what is spiritual. I am the basis of that. That is Antaranga Shakti. So therefore, one just cannot remain on the dimension of antimatter. No, that I am antimatter, I am non-material, I am something. So the dimension is also incomplete. Things become complete when uh, the Lord is involved. We see that, so the point is this, that why people are suffocated in life, why people are suffering in life, because the idea is very simple, because the idea is that uh, the experience of happiness is a volumetric problem. The experience of happiness is a volumetric problem. How much volume of happiness you feel, that's the experience. I feel this much big volume of happiness. This my, happiness experience. This my happiness. This my happiness. The volumetric problem. So when one is on just the material axis, then whatever one does, all one has is a line, and he's just playing with line and line segments. And line and line segments have zero volume. It is simple, is it not? Line and line segments have zero volume. And therefore, no matter whatever one does in material life, he is always miserable. Why? Because the simple aspect to understand is that happiness is a volumetric problem. And volume, the question of volume can only exist if you accept three-dimensional reality. That's the point. Only if you accept this three-dimensional reality. So this also explains why people who interface an antimatter, a non-material dimension in its vague sense, uh, also cannot sustain it, also feel that incompleteness. And therefore, philanthropists, philosophers, impersonalists, none of them find completeness because they are playing around with area contours. And the simple understanding again comes that areas don't have volume. So experience of life is a volumetric problem. And stability in this world also has to go in this sense, also has to move forward in the same sense, actually. Stability and sustainability also has to go in the same direction, actually. That's why Krishna is revealing, I am the cause. What is spiritual, what is material, I am the cause of both of them. Everything is based on me. So that has to be understood, actually. So the whole, that is the whole experience. That everything is the one thing, actually. And the one thing is not matter. The one thing is Krishna, service to Krishna. So now it's just like, so it's like this, that now the nature of reciprocation with Krishna, the Supreme Lord, that's the dimension being revealed. The self interest of the spirit soul in terms of the spirit soul's intrinsic needs, and the material energy, that which creates or encapsulates the spirit soul. The big question comes is how to reconcile everything that way. how to reconcile everything. And from a materialistic perspective, there is no reconciliation. If one focuses on matter, then all one is obsessed about is insatiable sense gratification. When there's no end to it, how much you can achieve, how much you can get, how much you want, how much your the desires, how much the desires can go. The desires can go way beyond. Now, this is one thing. The second is that the intrinsic needs of the spirit soul. And these intrinsic needs of the spirit soul are also, they are not satisfied by matter, but just by rejecting matter also they are not satisfied. The soul wants a stable ground. The soul wants ananda bhaya abhyasat. The soul doesn't want to live in uncertainties. And that's what reflects in people's intrinsic primordial desires. Nobody wants to harbor insecurities in one's life. Nobody wants to interface uncertainties in one life. These are all needs of the spirit soul, the spiritual energy, the Tatastha energy. Now, here the Lord is revealing, don't try to solve the problems on the material plane and don't try to solve the problems on the Tatastha plane, which is the spiritual energy. And the Lord has explained, just in the previous verse, the Lord has explained that there is this Jiva Bhuta Mahabhava. So just don't try to solve the problems on the Jiva Bhuta plane and just don't try to solve the problems on the material plane, because those problems will not get solved. You will not see any reconciliation. You will not see any convergence. Tatastha energy. Jiva Bhuta, the living entities, the Tatastha energy, the superior energy, the Tatastha energy. The previous verse, Lord explains, Jiva Bhuta Mahabhava Yedam Dharati. So this Tatastha energy is running around, exploiting material nature. So both of these are never going to reconcile, because the needs of the spirit soul cannot be satisfied with matter. Matter can only intoxicate. Matter can only degrade. Matter can only entangle. Matter entangles, and the spirit soul needs, or the Tatastha needs, the self-interest, so to say, can never happen, because sense gratification is not self-interest. Sense gratification is suicide. Yeah. The sense gratification is a suicide. Is it not? The sense gratification is not self-interest. So then we say, okay, then what is self-interest? Rejection is self-interest. Renunciation is self-interest. Everything is a torture. Yeah. If you reject mental energy, it's a torture, you know. People say, I'm having nice prasad, You can be, it's a torture, renunciation is also torture. You're burning this way, you're burning that way. Die in cold, die in heat. Like that. So whatever polarity we define as cold and whatever polarity define as hot. So it's like die of heat, being scorched, die of cold, like that. If you say sense gratification is heat, you die of heat, and abnegation is cold, like that. Or you can say the reverse also. Because when you renounce everything, the internal heat increases because you know no satiation, like that, You die in heat, die in cold, like that. So therefore, the Lord is telling, you will not be able to solve this problem. There is no convergence actually. The needs and the supply, there is no convergence between the two. That's why the material desires are insatiable, and infinite actually. Because there is no convergence only. One may feel, no, I want some stability, I want some security, so let me have some sense gratification. Let me have some material assets. It doesn't work out. The Lord is explaining, That is only going to work out when you are going to involve me. So the Lord is explaining, both are based on me. And if you access the Antaranga Shakti in this way, then you get a handle of the needs of the Jiva Bhuta, and you get a handle of the mental energy. You can detoxify the mental energy, and you will be able to inject, address the needs of the spirit soul. So therefore, in service to Krishna, one's self-interest is automatically satisfied. The Shastras and Acharyas speak about it profusely. That the self-interest and selfless love both come in one line. They are never two different problem statements. The ahaituki, apratihata, selfless love for Krishna and one's self-interest both come in one line. But material energy and self-interest, they never come in one line. It's always a bifocal error. They never come in one line. That is the meaning of Krishna saying that I am, know for certain, I am both the origin and the dissolution. So that's how I am both the origin and the dissolution. When we see that the Lord, the Supreme Lord, the Supreme Lord is the basis of both. So we want to relate with anyone, and we can only relate when uh, we can only relate when Krishna is involved in our lives. So this is a very important understanding. Why? Because this is a very important understanding. Why? Because the Lord is explaining here. Yeah, because matter we can understand. Matter actually intoxicates us, entangles us. Other matter, the sense gratification is burning, direct burning actually. But then the tatastha energy also is not we can see in day-to-day affairs and relationships. It's so difficult to tolerate people. It's so difficult to tolerate people. People may be having name tags, relatives, father, mother, brother, sister, whatever, son, daughter, Oh, it is so difficult to tolerate, actually. There is no reconciliation only. Friend, business contacts, any single person has such kind of thought processes, and sometimes one may say, Arey, you just open your Google Maps and you see what you are saying is going very close to what I'm saying. There is very little, distance between the two. In the vectorial axis, actually, there is very little, distance between the two. Little bit, just a little bit you adjust. That's what many times you may feel, just a little bit you can adjust, everything is wonderful. It's so close. But then it's yeah it's like blowing the horn on a buffalo, actually. There is no response, and we would just wonder why people cannot understand this basic thing. The ethics are talking about it, the materialistic people are talking about it, the best-selling novels are talking about it, shastras are talking about it, and you're not able to understand, and it's all blowing horns on a buffalo, like that. Similarly, we also have our buffalo tendencies, like that. So we also have buffalo tendencies, and these tendencies cannot be understood actually. Um, yeah, it takes spiritual advancement to understand. Like that. So the point is, others can see. So the point is, this is material life. Whom do you tolerate? You cannot tolerate material energy. Material energy is so pathetic, and you cannot tolerate the jiva bhuta. And what are you going to do? And therefore, actually, it's like. Yeah. So the whole problem is a very complicated and miserable problem. It's a multi-dimensional misery actually. First of all, there is misery because the material energy creates issues. There is crunch. Everybody is fighting for it. If you have it, you are in problem. If you don't have it, you are in problem. Like that. Then actually, so one can reconciliate even with less. Say for example, but people will not allow you to do that. Oh, people are beating you up. Oh, do this, do that, have this, have that, this way, that way, this way. So the whole problem is such a complicated issue. It becomes such a complicated issue. So Krishna is telling, that is what the Lord is telling, that you won't be able to reconciliate that too. I am the basis of both. If you, so therefore, if we relate to Krishna, then we can actually get a handle of our material energy, and then we can actually get a handle of Jiva Bhuta, like that. So that's all the problems. So the whole, and that is how one gains footing on this volumetric, in this volumetric fashion, one gains that footing actually. So this we need to understand. This we need to understand. So Krishna is the presence of the Lord, the service to the Lord, the reciprocation to the Lord has to be the basis of everything. Immediately Krishna is involved, we can tolerate everything again. Because Krishna is involved, we understand, okay, matter is there. If it is less, if it is more, if it is not there, it doesn't matter. Why? Because if it is less, I'll offer whatever is there less to Krishna. If it is more, I'll offer more to Krishna. If it is not there, I will offer mentally to Krishna. So I have no problem. Is it? Similarly, the Jiva Bhuta, the one may say, okay, uh, uh, so Jiva Bhuta, then one understands, okay, the basis of my relationship is okay, how to engage people in Krishna service, and now whether they do a perfect service, messed up service, it's between them and Krishna, like that. And we know Krishna doesn't need any service, so so, so it's to the person's benefit, so we can happily relate with everyone. Okay, you're conditioned, you're doing a messed up service, but you're doing service very nice, continue, is it not? But suppose that pointer is directed towards us. If he has to, in a messed up way, he has to, do something to us, and we are the object, then it's very miserable, It's very difficult to tolerate, like that. So it's a win. So this actually one can really understand, one can tolerate, and one can understand. Okay, it's a conditioned soul, his conditions are going away slowly. Let me not become very rigid. Let me not become very uh, inimical, like that. So one can understand and tolerate. One can compile. One can digest. Only when Krishna becomes involved. So Krishna increases our digestive system actually. We can digest relationship hassles. We can digest uh, uh, the bewilderment and so the bewitching effect of the material energy actually. We can digest that. Okay, this is very pathetic matter, but this is the only way I can express my offering to Krishna with care. that way. So therefore, we need to understand that the three uh, axes, uh, the material energy, our material need, the matter, the self-interest, and the Antaranga Shakti, that is the Supreme Lord, the reciprocation of the Lord. So everything has its stability. And therefore Acharya has explained, okay, if you are materially failure, no problem. At least spiritually, if you are healthy, then then everything is fine. It's just because material subject is extracurricular subject. Even if you get a P grade in that, that's fine. Like that. D grade, P grade, it's extra subject. Like that. Similarly, you know, in dealings also we understand that okay, if you are not able to please anyone, if you please Krishna, everything is taken care of. So at least we see that okay, one may not be very uh, one may find dealings difficult, one may find relating with people difficult. At least it says that okay, even if people are not able to understand you, even if people are not able to relate, but if you can serve Krishna, it makes it. So this laptop requires charging. It's critically low. So therefore, actually, whenever we are devotees, you see a sincere devotee. Therefore, you see, it's like this. Just like if it is a say if it is a if it is a pyramidal structure. A pyramidal structure actually is. A pyramidal structure is stable in one particular orientation. The surface area, the largest surface area has to be down, the tip has to be up again. Topsy turvy, if we do, it's not going to work out. Krishna has to be placed in the foundation. That's the largest surface area. Then the self-interest, that is the soul self-interest. Then the tip is the mental energy, that way. And materialistic outlook, people do the reverse. That's why it's all shaky. You take any step, it shakes. Like that. You take a positive step, then also it shakes. You take a negative step, then also it shakes. There is happiness, then also it shakes. There is success, then also it shakes. There is the failure, then also it shakes. So it's the shaky platform actually. If Krishna is not involved, then it is like that. It's topsy turvy actually. Completely topsy turvy. So that's why we need to understand this actually. Therefore, a sincere sadhaka always looks for pointers to connect through Krishna, whether through uh, Jiva Bhuta or through material energy, doesn't matter. So we should not try to relate with either material energy or people in isolation. Because if we relate with isolation, we won't be able to compile it, digest it. It's going to be a very difficult problem statement. But we should only relate with them from the point of view of connection to Krishna. So we offer service to humanity, to devotees, because by that we can please Krishna. So we are relating with Krishna, is it not? Like that. And we see everyone as Krishna's entourage. We relate with environment, we take care of the environment, understanding with Krishna's energies, Krishna's home. We should keep it nice, clean, like that. We relate with material energy as a means of offering to Krishna. So that way. So in this way, Krishna is the basis. And we need to orient our lives in this particular setting or from this perspective actually. Then things will start becoming meaningful.